views in the distance, and here there's like a park down there and there's a place to work out. And Colombia is great because like it's such a mix of different types of people, and there's so much going on outside and there's so much life here that it's a nice break from modern Europe to be around such a life and such vibrance and such like activity, just among the general population, and seeing people being so generally social and there being like a healthier social and community type environment, unlike modern Europe has unfortunately come to be. So I went there to work out a few days ago because there was a little gym, and I was like, oh great, there's a little outdoor gym, and I don't want to have to pay for a membership to SmartFit because it's like $25 a month for what? To exercise? I mean, like I can exercise for free, and if you're not lazy or stupid, you can do a pretty good job of it as well and be in better shape than most people with gym memberships. Anyway, so I went there and like do my pull-ups and like see what sort of machines are there or whatever, and roasting hot again. It was like 40 degrees again, as it has been usually, and I like I went there and there were loads of lads, and like often as it is in like public places where you work out, they're like people with bravado, but like here there is less of that anyway. So there were a couple of people working out, but like after a moment of being there, I realized that most of the people weren't there to work out. There was like a bunch of lads who were like operating apparently some sort of criminal enterprise out of the gym, and they were like fucking banging out. That's Irish slang for like selling drugs. So yeah, the boys were there and they were like taking bumps every couple of minutes, and like random cars would pull up and they'd like go into a fucking bush, and fucking come out with something and fucking hand it off to the lads in the car. And then, they seem to have a few little stash places, and, wasn't really paying too much attention because you don't want to be, like, in the fucking, on the turf of organized criminals doing criminal shit and making money doing so, and then be like, oh, what you got there, boys? Oh, where did you hide your money? Oh, where are the drugs? Cool. Okay, great, noted. Let me just, make a few notes here before I leave. That's the way you encounter trouble, like, cause like around people like this, I'm not fucking too worried because I'm not fucking with anybody, you know what I mean? I'm not looking for trouble. I'm not trying to take anything from them. I'm not trying to get any of them into any trouble. So it's like, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Let me have my workout and like let bygones be bygones, and can't we all live in peace and harmony and have a lovely time together, So anyway, like that's the fucking point of the story. Like I went there and I was like working out, and these lads were like clearly up to plenty and going on about their business and doing their stuff. And it's just like, nobody seemed to be too bothered by them or their operation, because like they weren't causing trouble. They were just like operating, and they needed a place to operate, and that happened to be the place. And like, yeah, it kind of mightn't look right to anyone that's like just passing by or doesn't know the fucking lay of the land or whatever, like, but there was no trouble about it, like. And I just thought it was an absurd and hilarious situation, like me and a couple of like like straight edge looking dudes in their fucking fucking sleeveless shirts and their Adidas fucking shorts or trackies, and like us killing ourselves working out in the 30-degree heat, and then like these dudes like rolling up spliffs and like taking bumps like every fucking 30 seconds or so, I was like, wow, that's like great frequency with which you're doing that there, lad. But, you know, it was just a funny situation because, like, Mr. Extraordinary, you know, Mr. Foreigner, like a lot of foreigners would be like, oh my god, they're taking drugs, or oh my god, criminals, or oh no, there's illegal commerce occurring here on the grounds of the outdoor gym. I'm gonna go, like, you know, panic and like cry about it, or like act like it's not okay and potentially provoke a situation, rather than like me just hanging out there and being like, yeah, whatever, I don't give a fuck, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and like, we will all live in peace and harmony with arms across the world, la 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 la. And at one point, like, I was trying to sort one of these machines, and like, just the way it was, I like took out the pin for the weight to make it heavier, and the fucking, like, the bar that was hanging off it fell on my fucking head. And then one of the dealer dudes, like, rushed over and was like, oh my god, and was like helping me. He grabbed the thing and picked it up and was like holding it for me while I adjusted the weight, and was like, you know, very polite and pleasant and helpful, like, you know, for no reason. And they were obviously busy and they were obviously doing their own thing, but, you know, he took the time out of the day and the trouble to help Mr. Strange Foreign Whitey, who he didn't need to give a shit about, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's funny that, like, situations like this would cause people to panic, because, like, what's the problem? Like, I mean, usually in situations like that, there's only a problem if somebody causes a problem. And usually most people don't want to actually cause any problems, like, so there's no problem unless somebody's acting the fool. So it's like, usually there's nothing to worry about. Like, it's like, if anybody wants trouble, they're going to cause trouble for everybody, and nobody wants trouble, and everybody's just there to fucking work out or make some money or fucking, you know, take their drugs or have a smoke or do whatever, you know? So it's like, situations like that don't worry me, and I had a good workout, and I didn't waste my time by going all the way there and being like, oh, there are strangers here and I'm afraid to leave. So, like, and they did their business, and, like, you know, some random foreign guy fucking hanging out for a while where you're doing business probably isn't going to be any trouble unless he's acting like he's fucking up to something, or like he's not cool generally. And so, you know, I just love the freedom here. It's just, nobody gave a shit. Nobody called the police. Nobody hassled anybody. Like, they were allowed to operate, you know. Here, there are street vendors everywhere. They're allowed to operate. They're not hassled by police. It's like, on the books, I think, like, something like 40 or 50% of this country is, like, unemployed. But, like, everyone here is hustling, and most people here, if they're doing anything on the side, they're not paying tax, as far as most people I've encountered here that I've talked to that are either, like, doing, you know, like, little independent business projects, or if they're doing something on the side, because, you know, like, tax is relatively high, and the economy of the country is, like, small. But, like, the thing is, countries like this, the economy on the books, as you would think of it normally as compared to Europe, for example, like, we don't have as much of an uncontrolled economy there, because everything there the state wants a piece of, or the EU wants a piece of. So here, the government is kind of, you know, in South America anyway, a lot of South America, the government is largely kind of stays the fuck out of people's business and lets people do their thing. And if people make a little bit of money, the government isn't all up in their business trying to fucking get their 30 shekels or, you know, their pound of flesh just because someone's making a few bucks, because the money is going to be spent back into the economy anyway, and a lot of these people don't have a lot to be asking them to be given a big portion of what they're earning anyway. Like, so there's a lot of like, you know, like, you could call black market economy stuff here that's not even the trade of illicit goods. It's just, you know, like, sometimes people are selling, like, individual cigarettes, or they're just, you know, reselling something they bought in the shop. and they're making a percentage on it, and it's not declared, and that's no problem, and that's how things generally work here. It's not so tightly controlled, and as a result, you know, like, it seems like the country is poorer than it actually probably is. At least that's the impression I get. So I'm going to continue in a little bit here. I'm just getting distracted, so we will talk again very soon.